6 major companies that have got over 90%. There's a few other little stragglers. And they supply the fuel, and then it's just mixed in there, or in some planes actually have sprayers on them, and then it's designed to go through the jet engines and be sprayed out and create nuclei that then cause particula to start forming and to form rain droplets. Remember trails, condensation trails before 96 only lasted a few minutes? Now they're there for hours? That's how dumb they think you are, that you wouldn't notice that? Well, now they just admit what they're doing. We'll tell you about that later. After I take every call that's on this board. Jason in Las Vegas, which is also Mafia New World Order run. You're on the air. Thanks for holding. Go ahead, Jason. Okay, Jason's gone. Let's go ahead and talk to Steve in Texas. Steve, you're on the air.
Yeah, good afternoon, Alex. I've been listening to you for quite a while now. And, of course, you're talking about the divide and conquer, mentality that these people are promoting. And I really see a polarization happening in this country. And, in the new movie you've got out that Jason has out, it has this quote right at the end from Giuliani, if you're not with us, you're with the terrorists. And I'm seeing this more and more because in talking to, the average person about this stuff, you get one of two reactions now. It's either, oh, you're one of those crazy conspiracy theorists. It's like a knee-jerk, deer in the headlights.
No, it's a cover story. It's a I don't have to think. I'll just throw this term out.
Right. Or you get the people who are starting to do what they were designed to do by their creator, and that's use that brain God gave you and think critically, because you see all these cameras going up everywhere. You see more and more.
And by the way, the Pentagon admits that's Pentagon designed as a slave grid. We are an enemy force. The American people have been listed as an enemy force by Northcom. This is official. The military openly is against us. And that doesn't mean your kid who's in the Marines, folks. Go look into Northcom, look into PED 51.
Yeah, and, Alex, I'm thinking about all these things that you talk about. I mean, you talk about so much on your show. And, the picture is here, they're incrementally poisoning the population through the vaccine, the drugs, the food supply, and the water.
And they admit they are.
They're militarizing the police. They're programming and dumbing down the population through the media, Hollywood, the schools. They're passing legislation and executive orders. They're engineering terror attacks, and they're tracking and monitoring everybody, and then they're systematically dismantling the family through the promotion of...
And they're hiring felons and criminals for the CIA and military. We are in red-level emergency.
Right, and yet you talk to people, and it's like... Don't you do anything besides wonder who's the latest winner of American idolatry?
No, listen, I hear you. But you can't worry about those who, men in black uniforms, could be butchering babies on street corners. They would say they didn't see it. You got to it was 5% when the Revolutionary War against the Redcoats in 1776, 1775, when it all kicked off. Went through 1783, 84. Again, we could obsess all day on the losers, the cowards, the idiots, the moron liberals, the moron conservatives who don't know that both parties are bought and paid for. I mean, the Democrats send the Democrats there to end the war, and the war expands. It doesn't matter what we want. It doesn't matter what's constitutional. The government does the opposite in every case of what the people want or say. Unless it's, quote, give us money, give us welfare. All they do is create debt that the private bankers then, while the money's still worth something, they go buy real assets and they leave us holding the bag. It's unbelievable. Folks, you're going to get hurt so bad by this New World Order. There is no doubt that every major vaccine causes diabetes and attacks the pancreas. Just type diabetes vaccines into Google. British Medical Journal, every major journal. They've known it for 30 years. It was designed that way. There's no doubt we went from 1 in 25,000 having autism to 1 in 86 in the last 20 years with the mercury. The feds now admit it. Still in there, by the way. Hadn't been taken out. They've made a few types and subgroups of vaccines available in small lots, if you want to be technical, that don't have it. They play lawyer semantic games. There is no doubt that Bayer Pharmaceuticals shipped out over 1 million dosages of Factor VIII, knowing each shot had HIV and hepatitis A, B, and C in it. Just type in to Google. You'll be seeing mainstream TV, mainstream news. Bayer Pharmaceutical, knowingly for more than a decade, shipped this out, killing hundreds of thousands. And the media, the only spin in the media is that they did it for profit. No, they knew. They're a eugenics organization. You understand this isn't a game? People are still talking about Tylenol accidentally having cyanide in it 20 years ago and a few people dying. This was hundreds of thousands dead, hundreds of thousands more to die, and they knew it had AIDS in it. And they shipped it out on purpose. Why? My film Endgame covers it. Folks, you better wake up to the horror of reality. Strap yourselves in and hold on.
He stands for truth. He stands for justice. He stands for what's right. This is the Alex Jones Show. Call Alex now, toll free, at 877-590-5525. Now live from Austin, Texas, here's Alex Jones.
It's really very simple. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times in the last century, governments have been looted in Mexico and in South Africa and in Japan. But nowhere ever. Russia's probably second best, or 110 years ago in China when it was being looted by the U.S. and Britain, mainly. Everybody had a piece of the pie. They broke it, what, in 9-10 pieces. China. But that's what empires do. They go in and they loot the raw resources. They dumb the public down. They hire governments to kick people off their property. They enslave. And now they've got high-tech propaganda to do it. And $4+ trillion missing from the Pentagon, completely stolen. They will not discuss it. Anybody that talks about it gets murdered or kicked out of Congress. I mean, that's trillions. You see, they stole and they stole and they stole. Imagine 1947, National Security Act. We already had the robber barons. They already owned and controlled most of the newspapers, owned most of the land, owned the railroads, owned most of the mayors. I mean, they'd have Pinkerton security just come up to people striking 100 years ago, even 90 years ago, and they would just machine gun whole crowds. The Rockefellers would hire Pinkerton out in Colorado to go into camps of people, gold miners, who own their own property, just kill everybody. Look it up. Look up Pinkerton Massacre. Just type that in. Thousands of times. I mean, they had private contractors. They would, I mean, you think these Clint Eastwood movies invented this? No, that's art imitating life. But it wasn't 6 guys getting off a train. It'd be 1,000 guys getting off a train and killing an entire town. I mean, riding down 3-year-olds running in the mud. Burning them up, killing every man, woman, and child. That's who these robber barons were 100 years ago. And they hired sociologists, psychologists, they hired the best minds, and they said, we want a dictatorship and to use the U.S. and England to set up a world empire. How do we do it? And they said, okay, you need to hire a young dictator in Germany, tell him you're backing him to take over. This is in the 20s. British think tanks, these are declassified. And they went and found Hitler, and they set him up, and they turned him loose. That's just one program. These people are incredible. And then they corrupted our own military and our own CIA in 47. At first, they couldn't find Americans in the intelligence who would deal drugs and kidnap kids, so they hired Klaus Barbie. They hired Joseph Mengele. That was in the AP last week, I told you years ago. To run the child kidnapping. For the elites want kids. A lot of money to be made off that. To run the drugs. And Klaus Barbie went in and trained our CIA how to ship heroin and cocaine in. There were already a bunch of Nazis. Tens of thousands of them were sent to Central and South America. They used them as the mercenaries to control the cocaine and to start bringing it in here and making it a market. There's even been information declassified where the CIA at first said, we don't want police busting people for this. We want to build a market first. Then we're going to get these bastards and put them in prison. You understand the diabolic? And of course I freak out. You think I like going head up against these people? You think I like coming on air and telling you this? These are some diabolical people. And I know we got loaded phones. I said I'd go to them. It's just we're being looted. I mean, now it isn't enough. They're killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. Their evil is bad enough. But now, and I've had top former White House historians, economists on, former CIA high-level analysts, they're all saying the same thing. They say it appears that the Western elite is preparing to do a Stalin or Mao or Hitler mass call and kill millions and totally take everything. See, that's why they're going for broke, folks. They don't care about the pension funds. They don't care about your future. That's why 10% of the college grads are Homeland Security. I mean, we are going to be the most evil nation ever seen, and they're going to take everything we've got. Your restaurants, your car dealerships, all you schmucks that back up this evil system and go along with it. They're planning to go with a red level, the most vicious type of predatory dictatorship ever seen, and they say they're doing it. And they're not just going to do it here, ladies and gentlemen. They are going to do it worldwide. The most vicious attack pattern ever seen. And out of that, they're going to take the remnants of what's left and use us as a Hessian. That was the old name of a particular county in Germany that delivered mercenaries out of Prussia. They are going to use us as a mercenary arm. You see, if they're going to loot trillions and destroy the economy and transfer it overseas into their new global corporate structure backed up by NATO as their military force,